And you should be able to have a nice clear picture of me. So you might want to put me on speaker view if you haven't already done that. So you don't actually even need a yoga mat for this week, but you can see that I've put a blanket on top of mine because I've got a hard floor. So you can do that if you want to. And you're going to start, you lie on your back, you've got your feet on the floor, and the feet are about hip width apart. And the knees look directly up towards the ceiling, and you just relax the arms by the sides of the body. So the very first thing I want you to do is just start to notice the contact of your body against the earth. And pay particular attention to the head, the shoulders, back, and bottom. Notice the parts of the back that are in contact with the earth and the parts that aren't. And we're just simply going to start by dropping the lower back down into the earth. So you're flattening the lower back to the floor. And then you're just going to release. And this is now you in your neutral spine, and our spines are all going to be very different. So again, just drop the lower back down to the earth. It's all very gentle, nice and secure lower back to the ground. And now release and notice your natural curve. So now we're going to extend that natural curve, and I want you to start to press the bottom, the top of the pelvis down to the earth, and you'll feel that the back will arch away from the ground. And then release, and the spine returns back to neutral. Press the bottom down gently, the spine arches, and release, and the spine becomes back to its neutral. So we're going to move between those two. So you press the lower back gently down to the earth, and then you start to press the bottom down to the earth to extend the spine. So you get this lovely pelvic rocking motion. Now with that rocking motion, take your attention all the way up the spine, and you might notice the head moving. If your spine is really stuck, then there might not be any movement. Again, we're all made very differently, and each one of us is perfect. And notice when you're in this movement, what is comfortable and what isn't, and never go towards uncomfortable. Stay within your comfortable zone. Now allow the spine to rest in a neutral position. From this position, drop the lower back down towards the earth. So you're going to hold this position, just let your breath flow. And I want you to engage your pelvic floor muscles. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've never done that before, think about your undercarriage. Keep your bottom soft and suck the undercarriage up towards your heart. And you'll feel a lifting up internally, but also a gentle drawing back of the abdomen towards the spine. So that's all happening from the inside out. From this position, I'd like you just to pick up your right foot. You've got the lower back down on the earth, you've got the pelvic floor engaged. And just notice how that feels for you. So whether you feel secure and safe. And you're going to lower that foot to the floor. Keep the lower back grounded. Keep the pelvic floor engaged. And you're going to raise the left foot. Again, you're just noticing whether you're in a comfortable space or not. Whether you feel secure and rooted. And lower that left foot. Raising the right foot. Keep the lower back grounded, pelvic floor engaged. And allow the left foot to join. And now notice whether this is comfortable for you or not. You're going to be putting more strain on the core muscles and the abdomen, but we don't want to generate pain. Place one foot to the floor and then the other foot to the floor and allow the spine to relax. So your spine's now in that neutral position, and you're going to keep this neutral position And we're going to explore that the movements that we've just done with a neutral spine. So some of you are going to be able to do that. Others of you, you might go, actually, I don't feel stable enough, so I need to drop my lower back to the earth. So you're going to draw up the pelvic floor, keeping the spine in neutral, and you're going to raise the right foot. And again, you're checking in. Do I feel balanced? Do I feel stable? Lower the right foot to the earth. Draw up the pelvic floor, so keep it engaged as you allow the breath to flow, and then pick up that left foot. Did you feel more secure with the lower back gently grounded? Lower the left foot. And so this is the real test now with a neutral spine and pelvic floor engaged. Raise one foot and raise the other foot. Now, if this feels too strong, you drop the lower back to the earth, and that will give you more stability. So from this position, whether you've got a neutral spine or the lower back dropping down to the earth, we've all got the pelvic floor engaged. You're going to take alternate toe taps. So you can see shins are parallel to the floor. My knees are at a right angle bend, and my movement's going to come from the hip. So I drop the toes towards the earth, and then I raise the leg. And then I do that with the opposite leg. And what I'm not doing is stretching the leg forwards, movement coming from the hip. I'm noticing how challenging this is for me. And it might be over time, I think about grounding through the lower back so that I can carry on. So for me, you might be able to hear it in my voice, in this neutral spine. I'm a bit shaky. I can feel my abdomen working. And when you're ready to, when you've done an even amount of both sides, so balance yourself out, you're going to hug both knees in. So just take a breather. So with those movements, we're going to challenge ourselves a little more, and you know that you can come back to alternate toe taps, and you can come back to the position you're in now where everything is soft and you're hugging the thighs in towards the belly. So we're going to come back to that tabletop position that we've been in, knees stacked above hips, spine in neutral or lower back grounded, pelvic floor securely lifting up, so much so that the the belly moves towards the spine. And to make this slightly stronger, you can start to open through the back of the knee, so the leg starts to lengthen as you toe tap. And again, you're going, do I need to move from a neutral spine to my lower back being rooted? And if this is all too easy for you, and it's not for me, you could, of course, move towards a double toe tap. So for me to do this securely and safely, I have to drop my lower back to the earth and toe tap with both legs. But I wouldn't be doing this for a long time. You can hear it in my voice. It's too much for me. My body doesn't like it. It much prefers alternate toe taps. But maybe I can offer myself more weight, which puts more effort into the abdomen and the core muscles by starting to lengthen through the legs. Do one more, however you're doing this, to each side, or take 2 double leg toe taps before you hug the knees in. So this is Apanasana, which is one of the lovely joyous poses in yoga. No effort involved. And the more you hug your thighs down towards your belly, you'll feel the back spread. So the back is nice and open. So we're going to move to an active isolated stretch. Those of you who are Jing massage therapists are very knowledgeable of these exercises. So what I'd like you to do is put both feet down to the floor. You're going to lengthen through the left leg, but you're going to keep the right foot grounded. And first of all, just forget the arms to start with. The effort comes from the leg. You're going to bring the knee into the chest. Then you're going to use your arms to hug the thigh down towards the belly for 2 seconds. And then you're going to release the arms and lengthen the leg along the floor again. So the leg moves, squeeze, 1, 2, release, leg lengthens. So continue to do this. We're going to do this for about 10 times, but it's quite difficult to teach, talk and count and move at the same time. So what's happening here, you can probably feel that as you squeeze the thigh towards the belly, the lower back is opening. So it's really nourishing. And then as you're lengthening the leg and bringing the knee in towards the belly without the use of the hands, you're contracting through the front of the belly, the front of the thigh especially, the hip flexors, to bring the leg in. And when that knee is hugging down, you're stretching the back, the bottom, and up into the hamstrings. And you might notice if you're going at a faster pace that it's quite cardiovascular. So you're going to take one more and you're going to place the left foot to the floor, lengthening through the right leg. And we'll repeat that to the right side. So when you're ready to find your own rhythm, knee comes in, squeeze for 2 seconds, leg lengthens to the floor. Knee in, squeeze, 1, 2, leg lengthens. Squeeze, 1, 2. So know that you don't have to go at my pace. We're all very different. You might be going slower, you might be going faster. It's about you just finding your rhythm and that you feel safe and secure. That if you've really got a sore back, you don't want to do anything that creates more soreness. What we want to be doing is creating more openness and freedom to our bodies. So maybe take 2 more to the right side. And that right foot comes down to the earth. Lovely. So very simply, just bring your arms just a little away from the body. Some of you might like to take them into this T shape and just start to windscreen wiper the legs. So the feet are hip width apart and the legs just drop from side to side. So there's no need to move the feet. And you can take that twist all the way up into the cervical spine, so all the way up into the neck. As the knees drop over to the right, you turn to look to the left. As the knees drop to the left, you turn to look to the right. This should feel nice and easy, allowing gravity just to drop the legs, the knees down towards the earth. So the next time you're on your left side, you're just going to hold this stretch just for a little bit, turning the head to look to the right. Now, just notice the lower back, and if your lower back feels closed and squashed, then just think about dropping the tailbone down towards your heels. So what it isn't is a big butt squeeze. The butt's soft. It's just a little tuck of the pelvis, and that will open up the lower back. So for this easy spinal twist, what I'd like you to do is bring the right arm up and over so that you're lying on your left side. You might have to adjust a little bit. And you come into a bit of a fetal position. Now, if the neck's not feeling happy, the right side of your neck might feel overstretched, do put a pillow or a block under your head. And just a very kind of loose contact, doesn't have to be too much of a stacking between the ankles, the knees, the hips, the shoulders and the hands. We're going to take this into a side stretch. So keeping the right fingertips in contact with the ground, stretch the right arm overhead. And just be really kind to yourself. Your shoulder might not like this. So just find the place that feels right for you. And you've got tented fingers with the right hand. And now with the right leg, lengthen through the right leg. Keep the right foot in contact with the floor. And start to take the right leg back in space. That's right. And again, just find that stretch through the right side of the body. And because now we're nice and open through that right side, take your slow breath really into the side of the rib cage. If you practice yoga regularly, don't use ujjayi. Just use your gentle, slow, sipping breath and aim to be breathing through the nose rather than the mouth. So from this side stretch, we're going to add on. You're going to keep the right fingertips and the right toes in contact with the earth. The right arm's going to come over and backwards, and the right leg's going to come forwards to the front. And then, so it's a bit of a windmill, and then you come back to your side stretch. So arm moves back, leg moves forwards. Keep the fingertips, the toes in contact with the earth. So you're sweeping yourself round. It should feel like, I really like this movement. It feels really great for me. And just find that place in your twist where you get enough stretch to the chest, where you get enough stretch to the butt and the outside edge of that top hip, and where your back, of course, feels safe and nourished. The next time you're in this spinal twist, you're going to hold. Your arm can be anywhere that is comfortable. And it might be that you turn the head to look at your right fingertips. Now, if there's not enough tension through that right leg for you, press the ball of the foot away, and that will increase the tension to the back of the leg. That's too much tension for me, so I'm going to keep my right foot soft. Again, if the lower back feels closed, then drop the tailbone towards the feet, and that will open up the lower back. And when you're ready to, come back to that side stretch, and you're going to restack, and you're going to come onto your back. So we will do that to the other side. But for now, what I'd like you to do is either drop, actually, if all of us could drop the lower back to the earth, draw strongly up through the pelvic floor, pick up one foot and then the other foot. On an exhalation, you're going to crunch yourself up and hold the back of the thighs. So you've got real firm contact between the hands and the thighs. Now what I'd like you to do is bring the feet forwards so that you lift more up towards the top of the pelvis. Allow the breath to flow. Keep the pelvic floor strongly engaged. And this is a traction to the whole of the spine, especially if you tuck the chin in towards the chest also. If this feels too much for you, come back to the ground, bring the knees in and hug yourself into Apanasana. Take one more slow but deep inhalation, and on your exhalation, hugging the knees in. So you're all going to roll onto your right side. I'm just going to flip to the other end of my mat. Obviously, if you want to see me, then do the same. And you're going to restack everything, a loose restack, of course. And this time we're going to bring some length and space to the left side of the body. So left fingertips stay on the floor, reach the arm gently overhead. Find that happy place for your body. Tented fingers, and then you're going to lengthen the left leg and keep the left foot in contact with the earth, draw the left leg back. Again, just find what's right for you. So your posture might look very different to my posture. I'm sure most of you are in a far better posture than me. And direct the breath now to the left side of the rib cage. So your intention is to expand the muscles in between the rib cage, to expand the space between the rib cage and the top of the pelvis. And then if you want to, we go into that lovely moving twist. Keep the foot and the hand in contact with the earth. You sweep the leg forwards and the arm backwards. And then you sweep yourself back round to the side stretch. And just let the breath flow. So your breath typically knows what it wants to do, what works better for your body. So I quite like to breathe out to come into the twist and breathe into the side stretch. You might be breathing the same, or you might be choosing to do it the opposite way. As long as it feels right for you and nourishing, then it's all good. So the next time you're in that twisted position, you're going to hold. And if you want to put more tension through the back of the body, press through the ball of the left foot. Again, think about the lower back. If it's too close, drop the tailbone down. So again, it's just that little pelvic tilt. So when we're in our bridge posture, when we drop the lower back towards the earth, that's exactly what you're doing, not a big butt squeeze. Just link back into your slow nasal sipping breath. And you're going to come back to that side stretch. Just here for one breath. Closing in back to that lovely fetal position. I could probably go to sleep here now. And then you're going to come on to your back. So we're going to do a slow roll up from this all fours, from this position into a very gentle bridge. So we've already looked at one aspect of it, where you just gently drop the lower back to the earth. So if we can all do that, and the pelvic floor can stay off. Where as we rise up into a bridge, you might decide to put some tone in. So just notice how your back feels as you raise up from the earth. So from this position, you'll very simply keep the bottom soft, going to lift the bottom from the floor. The lower back stays grounded. So it's just the sacrum that's come off. So you can feel the top of the pelvis still on the earth. So it's just a gentle buttock tuck, but the bottom's quite free, not a massive squeeze. And then what we're going to do, as you breathe out, you're going to keep the rib cage to the earth, but you've now raised the lower back. So this is hammock posture. It's just a gentle tractioning to the lower back. And decide whether you want to put some tone up, because obviously we're now creating we're creating instability because we're taking more off from the earth. And the final stage is to put more tension through the bottom, gently press through the feet, and you come up into this diagonal position. So you're not in a back extension, you're diagonal. So this is where you might want to put some tone through the pelvic floor. We want an even tensioning to the back of the body and the front of the body. Now, what I'd like you to experiment by doing is to, without moving the feet, it's tractioning, is traction the heels. So pull the heels towards your head. And when you do that, you'll really feel the tightening to the back of the thighs, the buttock, into the pelvic floor. And that might offer you enough stability to hold this. What happens to me is that my hamstrings cramp. So it means that I need to do more of this actually to get more tone there. So you can always now just soften off. Notice how that feels. You're going to roll down nice and slowly. Let the breath flow, thinking about dropping the bottom closer towards the heels as you lower down. So those 4 movements of coming up to that diagonal bridge, we're going to do in one kind of fluid action. So on an exhalation, you gently tuck under. You then lift the bottom, you then lift the lower back, you then lift the ribs from the floor. So you've got your feet, shoulders, head, arms and hands gently grounded. Toe running up through the pelvic floor. Now, if you wanted to take this into more of an extension, ground down through the base of your posture so that you can lift the heart up towards the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. You're probably not because it's freezing even in Kent. And you're going to draw the arms under the body. So you're tucking under. Really now you do have to ground down and put that strong tone through the pelvic floor. And let the breath flow. On your next exhalation, keep the lift, but take the arms from underneath. So untuck the shoulders so the shoulders feel nice and open. Float the arms up and overhead. So some of you, to do that, to have the hands in contact with the earth, might need to open up towards a V shape, might need to open up more towards a T shape with the arms. Start with an exhalation, but let the breath flow and roll slowly down. So you're taking the bottom away from the fingertips towards the heels. And you might feel the tractioning, not just to the back and the neck, but also up through the arms. When the bottom touches, allow the spine to find its neutral position and bring the arms back to the sides of the body. Lovely. So we're going to come up towards a seated position, and know that you can just roll onto one side to do that, or you can follow me. So to make it more challenging, as long as the back is happy, you're going to drop the lower back to the earth. You're going to pick up one foot, then pick up the other foot. High tone through the pelvic floor. As you breathe out, you're going to crunch up. Take hold of the back of the thighs. Move the feet forward so that you roll more towards the sacrum. So the sacrum is the bone that is just above the butt crack. And then from this position, start to lengthen through the legs, and the weight of your long legs will bring you up to sitting. Lovely. Okay, so from that seated position, know that you might want to sit on a cushion or a yoga block. You're going to bring the legs into a nice big diamond shape. Might be that you want to pull the flesh away from your sit bones. And place the fingertips to the floor and just gently press them down so that you feel the crown of the head lifting up. So you're going to float the arms up as you breathe out. You're going to circle them back as you breathe in and bring the fingertips or the palms of the hands to the earth. Roll the shoulders back so that the spine comes into an arch. So the chest feels really proud and you might look up towards the ceiling. Thinking about the knees opening out towards the sides so that you start to traction in the hips and the inner thighs. Really think about that inhalation directing to behind the breastbone. So there's a real opening and lifting to the front of the chest. And you'll notice the shoulder blades are strongly kissing the spine. Opening the front of the body, closing more to the back of the body. As you breathe out, come onto your fingertips, walk the hands towards the bottom to bring you up. So the opposite movement is to flex the spine back. Imagine that you're hugging yourself or a loved one or a tree, and then you open the arms, looking up, heart forwards. So moving between this flex spine and this extended spine. And calming to stillness, following your heart looking up, relaxing down. You're going to cross, let me turn my timer off. You're going to cross the left ankle, the left leg in front of the right leg, nice and scruffy, it doesn't have to be precise at all. And as you breathe out, you're going to raise the right arm, and as you breathe in, you're going to side stretch to the left. So make sure you can see your arm, reach for the corner of the room, so where the ceiling and the walls meet. Now the left hand is just going to gently press down and forwards, and you'll notice that you get more stretch to the right side of the body. So really direct the breath to the space between the rib cage and the hips. Inhaling here, and then as you breathe out, use the weight of the right arm, press through the left hand to come up. And you're going to walk the hands forwards to come towards a forward fold. Now again, we can use the tractioning of the hands to press down and forwards, and you'll get more lengthening to the back of the body. Tucking the chin in. And it might be that you notice in the back of your body an area of discomfort or an area that feels stuck. Take your slow breath to that space. So your intention is to open up that space and to bring ease and relaxation to that area of discomfort. So using our intention for pain relief is, it's half the journey. Start to walk the hands in, and you're just going to lean back a little. Don't fall over and knock yourself out on the wall behind you, and cross the legs. So now the right leg is in front. The exhalation, the left arm floats up, and the inhale, you side stretch over to the right side. Make sure you can see that left arm. Right hand presses down and forwards. You'll feel that the left buttock has more contact now with the earth. Use your nourishing nasal breath to open in the left side of the body. When your exhalation comes, the left arm starts to float down, press up through the right hand to bring you up to sitting. Walk the hands forwards. Notice whether this feels easier or more difficult than the other side. Hands pressed gently down and forwards. Tuck the chin in. Just noticing an area of the back or the rib cage perhaps, maybe into the neck, that doesn't feel as happy as it could do, and direct your breath there. As you breathe out, just start to walk the hands back towards the feet. And we're just going to close very simply. When you welcome your next exhalation, float the arms up. As you breathe in, open the arms towards a V. The heart lifts up, look up to the heavens. And as you exhale, nice long spine, arms come down through a T, back to the earth. Lovely. So that's the end of our practice. I'll just stop the recording for us.